Kelly is an addict and she cannot stop.
I can't keep doing this.
She gets clean for a minute and she goes right back out.
Kelly's drug of choice is heroin.
I'm using heroin every day. As soon as I wake up, I have to get high.
Kelly drinks, does heroin, takes Xanax, she smokes pot.
For Kelly, it's normal, but for me, it's very shocking. In high school, Kelly was always the prettiest girl. Everybody loved her. I had no idea Kelly was using drugs until 3 or 4 years later.
When Kelly was 17, I got a phone call from the school. They said, your daughter's been taking pills and drinking alcohol. You need to take her to the hospital and they may need to pump her stomach.
I've overdosed 8 times at least that I remember. I have track marks from veins blowing out.
Kelly always tells me, you'll never understand. To me, I'm just like, why can't you just stop right now? And she'll tell me, I want to.
Kelly has been abused, raped, kidnapped. She's been held against her will. I believe Kelly has addiction because of buried secrets she has about her father.
I think Kelly's gonna die before we know it.
Kelly needs to come clean with her traumas to get clean.
Okay. Now, let's talk about what we can agree on first, all right? We certainly agree that Kelly is in a bad way addiction-wise, right?
Right.
Yes.
She's been to 20-plus rehabs?
I've lost count, but it's close to 20.
Yeah. If it's never really had any traction with her at all, why do you suppose that is?
I feel like it's because of all the trauma she's been through, and she's never addressed her trauma. She's never faced her trauma or dealt with it.
What do you think?
Well, when I've talked to Kelly after she's left a treatment center, she's using that day.
Who hypnotized her?
Just some psychologist that someone gave us the name of, just to try to draw this out of her.
Some psychologist. Was this
I
a
don't know his
board
name.
certified and licensed professional? Was this a trained hypnotherapist? Was this
He
someone
was.
that knew what they were doing? Were they licensed
They were licensed. It was
in hypnotherapy?
yes,
She says she started using real early in her life, like 9 years old.
yes.
And you raised her pretty much as a single parent until she was 7.
She was a little over 8 when. Yeah.
And then you took her to her dad some.
When she turned 7, her dad started calling her and wanted visitation.
And you allowed that?
I allowed that.
I'm not saying you shouldn't. I'm just saying that's when you
That's
started
when
having, he
yeah.
started having access to her.
Yes, sir.
In retrospect, was that a good thing or a bad thing?
Very bad thing.
Okay, and you know that now, but you didn't know that then.
That's right. I didn't have a good feeling about it at all, but everyone around me, everyone I talked to about it, said that's her father. She needs to have a relationship with her father.
That he was smoking dope, that he was drinking, and she saw him doing that, so she said, I'll try it. She started experimenting with alcohol and marijuana, and that she first shot something in her veins at age, 9, 10, 11, very young.
She never told me the age.
Yeah, she told us that she did it with him, not with him, but at his place, using his drugs at a very young age.
Dr. Phil has to know how bad it is to know how he can help me. How's anybody gonna help me if they don't know what the real problem is?
I've been struggling with addiction since I was 8 years old. I began to see my dad again. I saw that he was drinking, smoking pot, so I started stealing his pot and experimenting with pot and alcohol. 12 years old is the first time I ever shot anything into my veins.
This is where it stops tonight, but where does it stop tomorrow?
My mom never really suspected anything. I was always either at some kind of practice or with a friend, quote unquote, studying. Growing up in 2 different environments, I used drugs to kind of escape that pain of how bad they hated each other. Over at my dad's, he would get so drunk and stoned that he couldn't deal with me. When my mom couldn't handle me and my anger, she would send me away to mental institutions. It wasn't hard for me to go straight to the heroin. That was the drug that was for me. In my 20s, I was sex trafficked. I almost died from sepsis twice. One time, my mom had taken me to the hospital. She had gone to get lunch, and when she came back, I was dead on the table. The doctors brought me back to life. I mean, like, what mom wants to watch her child die on the table? Dr. Phil is my last hope. I either take his advice or I die.
Have a seat. Well, Kelly, how are you feeling today?
I'm okay. I'm a little nervous. I'm surprised, but super grateful I'm here.
Tell me about your pattern of heroin use in the last couple of weeks.
The last couple of weeks, I've actually been in a detox facility. As soon as I got out, the day I got out, I was shooting heroin again. So, I mean, before that, before the detox facility, I actually overdosed twice within 5 days of each other.
What happened?
The paramedics came in and they had to Narcan me twice because I wasn't waking up from the first dose.
And where were you?
It was like an abandoned tire shop that I was in.
How did they find you?
I have no idea. I mean, I woke up to the paramedics. I mean, I guess the guy that I was with had called 911.
That was the first time. You
That was
said
the first time. And then 5 days later, I overdosed again.
Okay, so twice in 5 days, you shot up enough heroin to kill you if someone hadn't intervened.
Correct.
Did your father molest you, or did he not?
I have no memory of that. I don't even remember that period of time where my mom is talking to the DA and all these other people. I don't even remember doing that in itself. I don't know if maybe I've just blocked it out. I don't know if there are some deeper rooted issues that I need to, look at. I just know that I need direction because I can't keep living like this. Like I don't want to die from this disease. I don't want to continue using heroin because I can't figure out what's really going on with me. It scares me, Dr. Phil. It scares the crap out of me, and I'm desperate here for answers. I have no idea what to do from here, but my white flag is up. Like I don't know what else to do. I don't know where else to go. I don't know who else to talk to. I don't, that's why I was very adamant on saying how many treatment centers I've been to, because I don't know what will work.
Well, your mother seems to be all in on the fact that you have this unresolved trauma in your life and that you're doing drugs because you're self-medicating. Right? And that the big trauma is that you were molested by your father. You've said it happened and you said it didn't happen. So you've told the story both ways. And I'm just wanting to get that on or off the table.
I really don't remember it.
Because I personally don't think that has anything to do with why you're doing drugs. I think I know why you're doing drugs, and I'm happy to tell you why.
Yes.
My dad died from alcoholism. He had liver failure.
When I spoke with Kelly, she seemed extremely upset. I told her I thought it should have been a relief now that he is gone.
Kelly was in detox when her dad passed away. She bolted and she ran.
I probably got more messed up in that week than I have in about 2 years.
I told her she's going to die, just like him.
I went straight from the funeral back to the treatment center.
There's something that I know for sure. A lot of things I don't know for sure. There's some things I do know for sure. And, I can pick any member of this audience or this virtual audience, and I can follow them around for half a day. And I can not say one word to them, just follow them around and watch their life. I can watch how they dress. I can watch how they walk. I can watch how they behave. I can watch how they interact with other people. I can watch how they treat themselves. And I can tell what they think they deserve without ever talking to them. And I can tell that because people generate the results in life they think they deserve. You are in a gutted, empty building because that's what you think you deserve. You have generated, you're not going to find me in some building somewhere, abandoned building on some concrete floor with a needle hanging out of my arm, because I think I deserve better than that. So you're not going to find me there. Now, you might find me down at the Four Seasons or the Ritz or somewhere because that's what I think I deserve. But you're not going to find me at some abandoned building somewhere because I don't think that's what I deserve. I'm going to generate the results in life I think I deserve. Just like you do, and just like you do, and 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 you do. We all generate the results in life we think we deserve, and that's what you're doing. And you have decided that you believe you deserve to shoot up heroin until you die. That's what you've convinced yourself of. Maybe you're right. Maybe you're some worthless human being, and I don't know. You've convinced yourself of that. Maybe you think I gave my child up for adoption, I don't deserve to live. I don't know. Maybe that's your criteria. Maybe that's your yardstick for deciding whether you deserve to live or not. I don't know. The question you have to ask yourself is whether you deserve something better than what you're getting. Whether you deserve something better than what you're generating for yourself in your life. And that begins with a sub-question. And that sub-question is whether or not you can forgive yourself and every other player in your life for everything that has happened so far. Because if you can't do that, then you're going to continue to be stuck right where you are. And unless you can say, you know what, not even God can change what has happened, but I've got to be willing to forgive myself for that. Forgive myself for doing drugs when I was 8, 9 years old. Forgive myself for putting my child in an adoption scenario. Forgive myself for blowing 20 shots at rehab. Forgive myself for ODing twice in 5 days. Forgive myself for not being a giver, instead being a taker with my best friend. Forgive myself for all the things I've done that I am not proud of. I got to wipe the slate clean and forgive myself and start over as a new human being. If you cannot do that, then you're not ever going to generate different results than you've been generating. And if you want to generate something better in your life, then I would be willing to find some way to help you do that. But I'm not going to be the one that's working the hardest on this out of the two of us. And you got to decide you either want to generate better in your life or you don't. It's not about being clean and sober. It's about first deciding whether you deserve a better trip through this life than the one you've generated so far. And when you make that decision, you let me know.
I have made that decision.
We'll see. We'll see. You make it sitting in that chair today. We'll see if you say that same thing tomorrow. But you know how to get in touch with me. You let me know. And if you want to generate those results, then I will get you help to do that. And I mean real help to do it.
I've slept with men, women to get heroin.
Addicted
She did heroin last week, overdosing twice.
and out of control.
Can you tell me where her anger is coming from?
Does it matter? Because it has nothing to do with why she's doing heroin.
New Dr. Phil. Check your local listings.
Do you have a story or a question for me? Click the link in the description and tell me what in the world is going on.